Okay.
All right. Here we go. Episode number 25. All right. I'm very, very happy to say that my subscriber count has been going up. And last check, it was 111. 111. And why do I think that is? That's kind of epic, because today is 111. So people into numbers and how these things go, hey, 1111, 111, that's what it is. 111 subscribers as of now. It's very gratifying this week. I kind of just went to people and just asked them to subscribe. I just did. So that's how that went down, So that was great, man. It's this little endeavor is growing little by little, and we're getting there, And the people are interacting, sending me texts and emails, and they're leaving messages, and they're coming in, So, I got to thank Bob again, because he had people, and these people came through. That's right. So, episode 25. Yeah, it's a quarter of 100. Quarter, 25. Quarter, 25%. But yeah, this is great. It's a very nice morning out here. It's kind of almost spring-like, So, it's not cold at all. It's very, very nice. It's overcast as heck, but, it just is what it is. It's really, really good. 111. Okay, so this week, stuff I've been thinking about. So I'm going to segue into something that kind of dovetails of what Bob was talking about. He was talking about sunlight, and he was talking about the necessity for health, both emotional and physical health, that we actually need the sunlight. But light isn't just something that we absorb. It's also something that we stand in, right? When you stand in the light, you cast a shadow, right? So, when you talk about shadows and casting a shadow and your shadow self and all of that kind of stuff, that's that Carl Jung thing about the subconscious and what's going on down there, and it's generally thought of as a negative thing, right? So your shadow self. That's not what I'm talking about. This is something else. This is when somebody stands in the light, sun or lamp, and they cast a shadow, right? So this is the aspect that I'm going to get in and try to redefine for us. Like I said, people of a certain age. Now, let me start by defining what I mean when I say light. When you stand in the light, right? In this scenario, the light would be your values, your integrity, your resilience, the kindness, the things that you do on a daily, the positive things that you do, right? That you stand in, right? And the shadow would be what you do on a daily basis, the positive things you do, how that influences the people around you. So you're casting a shadow of resilience, a shadow of kindness, right? So this is how we're approaching that. We feel like sometimes our light is dimming, like our energy is going, So we're trying to flip the metaphor a little bit. The longer you stand in the light, the longer and more defined your shadow. So if you are consistent and persistent in living a certain way, certain positive way, and just standing in that light, your shadow becomes more defined, almost immovable, like a statue. There's you, and then there's your shadow that's very consistent because your direction and intention to the light is consistent. We can call that a righteous shadow, right? And what does casting a righteous shadow does, right? When you're consistent in your behavior, people notice it. That could be your shadow. Like when I rode, like when it's warm and I used to ride consistently, people would see me do this. Not only on the internet, but neighbors and people that I didn't even know were paying attention. They were paying attention. And they would see me at other times of the day or in other situations. And they'd be like, yeah, you're that brother that be riding every day, right? I think I might want to do something like that. So sometimes just your presence and just your consistency casts a shadow. And these are things that as seniors, I think we have to be aware of. And don't think that you're not having an influence to the people around you, because you're casting a shadow. You're consistently walking towards the light, and you're casting a shadow, a righteous shadow, like choosing kindness, and not choosing the gossip, and practicing patience. These are quiet things, the quiet acts that cast a shadow of peace around you and stability in a family. And that's why the role sometimes as a senior or somebody that's lived a while and seen some things, just a daily activity of patience, of refraining from crap, is very helpful. So I'm just pointing these things out so you could see that just the mere act of being consistent in a positive way is contributing. It's vital sometimes to family and to people around you. And sometimes people that you don't even know that you're influencing, that your shadow is, I don't want to say protecting, but your shadow is creating a pathway for people. For creative people, it's just like using your voice and doing your art and sharing it, poetry, music for me, and poetry, or just speaking, sharing your wisdom, when people are willing to listen to it, but also showing patience, and looking for an opportunity to share your wisdom. And this process of standing in the light and casting a shadow, it creates a natural evolution sometimes, most times, that you go from being one in the light that casts the shadow to actually being the light itself, for others to stand in and cast a shadow, So it's like a practice that you do, you continue to walk to the light, and then you step into the light and you become the light. This is all metaphoric, but you understand what I'm trying to say. You become the example. One is kind of passive, where you are the shadow, where you're just doing things on a daily basis, and you're just doing your thing in a positive manner, refraining from gossip, doing your exercise. People see that, you're being consistent in a family setting, and you're an example of consistency and peace, right? The other one is more active, where you're actually the light, where you create situations of peace, of consistency, community organizations or family projects, or introducing ideas that promote positive energy, And these are things that seniors could do, that seniors do. Continue to be vital to the people around them. Being the light could be as simple or as difficult, or as initiating a difficult conversation. Using kind of lifetime experience to be able to interject yourself in a situation and bring something forward that people were maybe trying to avoid. Shining that light in the corner where people trying to step around. So we need the sun's light for our health, our well-being, our sense of security, our energy. And we need to stand in our own light. One heals the body and the mind from the sun, and the other heals the soul and shapes our legacy. Both are non-negotiable. So that's my thing today. I hope it came across like I hope it should, like I hope it did. And again, it's a beautiful day out here today. And thanks again for everybody who has made the commitment to being a subscriber to Cycling Through Your Life. Try to just open up different aspects of, growing older and finding purpose in how we live. Because, the way things are these days, you have to kind of figure out a way, you have to navigate through this kind of mess. We all got to be navigators, HNICs, head navigators in charge, and stand in that light and cast a shadow for people to recognize and to follow. And when necessary, you have to be the light, you have to actually be that light. So that's my spiel for the day. And remember, it's not what you think, it's what you think about.